You can take it over here. Hey folks, it's Captain Liam here, Marina del Rey Bridal. We have Sean McCarthy from Catalina Crew.
What's going on?
I just have to switch to Instagram here and press go live on Instagram. So bear with me. Give me 2 seconds. It should pop up here in a minute. There we are. Looks like we're live on Instagram as well. And we're back. Hey folks, so that's the camera there, Sean.
The light's a little bright, but I will take these off.
Okay, welcome to, we can adjust the light. Welcome to Marina Yacht Unbridled. Marina Yacht Unbridled is a 191-foot Trinity, built in the United States, so we're proud of that. The owner's wonderful. We're available for charter, and like we just spoke about a story, Sean's a captain as well, so he kind of understands, you know, some of the journeys I've gone through, and that's why he's on board as well. We just came from Costa Rica, 2,500 miles. Then we did a 10-day show, 2,500 miles, 8 days. Then a 5-day Newport boat show, NBIBS, and that's where we connected.
That is where we connected.
And your energy got me through it, I think. We needed you. We needed you, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta stay pumped up, stay positive. But and you guys, what was the actual term you used? Skullduging? You guys dragged the tender 4,000 miles?
Yeah, that's the crew terminology, skull dragging.
It's
when you catch a fish and you keep it on the surface and you just take it. So 42 HCB, we skull dragged from Golfito, and I think, thank God, we're shipping it now we're shipping it to Port Angeles, Seattle, and then we go to Juneau, Alaska.
How long are you going to be in Juneau, Alaska for?
All summer. We got charters. We got 4 charters booked now. We got another month, about 3 more weeks available before you're starting to get into the early and late charters, which is still good, but a little bit cold. The early and late ones. So
honestly, before, because we have a YouTube where we tour, you know, the bigger boats around the world. Now we've done Monaco, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale. I never even thought about the aspect of chartering in Alaska. Yeah. And then once the guys in Serengeti told me what they do, I was like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, Captain Zach, he's world class, and he's big into spearfishing up there. So he's
he's ready to go.
Yeah,
all the time.
He hung a halibut up there, big halibut on the back of the boat.
Oh, I saw that too.
That's the one that the boss caught. It's the biggest halibut the family's caught. But Unbridled's going up there. We're not going to mess around. We're going for something bigger, you know. I always say I'm not competitive. I just want to be in the conversation.
Well, I like that. That's good ideology.
But tell me about Catalina Crew. Like, what's the story? What sparked your idea? One of the questions I had. What sparked Catalina Crew's idea? What's Sean's story here?
I guess we'll get into it. I went to college in Boston. I grew up in New England with a family that was marine-oriented. We had a boat in Watch Hill, Rhode Island. My parents actually met.
Where was it?
Watch Hill, Rhode Island.
Watch Hill, okay.
Yeah, Long Island Sound.
All right.
We had a Bristol called the Irish King. And then we also had a lake boat in my hometown, which is Celtic, Massachusetts. So we had both sides, lake life and ocean life.
Yeah.
So my parents met at Martha's Vineyard. Back home, there's a thing called Vineyard Vines, which is like a brand.
The clothing brand.
Yeah, clothing brand.
Big brand.
So I got the idea. I was like, why doesn't Catalina have its own clothing brand? And I'd never been to LA. I'd never been to California. So I packed up my car, my dog, with the idea for Catalina Crew, and had nowhere to live. Had a 14-foot Zuma sailboat behind me I used as a trailer, and I came to LA.
Putting the stuff in the sailboat?
Yeah.
Where's the sailboat now?
Did you? Actually, it was kind of cool. My dad was able to sail it in the Cape and also in the Pacific.
Cool.
So I was pretty stoked on that. But so I got to LA, and this is how greenhorn I was about the whole boating community in California. I was like, I get to a yacht club because they need a place to park the boat, and I go, what do you guys do to winterize the boats? Like, where do you haul them out? And they're like, they never come out of the water. I'm like, what? I was like, they don't come out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're dedicated back east.
Exactly, we're committed. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's a process.
Long story short is my dad had been going through some health issues. He had juvenile diabetes, and he had 2 transplants, kidney and a pancreas.
Yeah.
So I got him a boat as somewhere to hang out, so he could come and like rehab and chill and be around the water, which is what he loved the most. And I could not find a Marina del Rey 1 mechanic who would show up or know the job or do the job. So I did it. I got a come along, a 4x4, pulled the motor, put a new tranny in it.
Cool.
And I looked around, I go, there's 6,000 boats. I'm like, this is crazy. So I put up a Craigslist ad, hired an old timer, Jaybird, who's like lost more knowledge than most have gained. And within 4 months, we were running 88 Pershing.
Cool. What year was this? Well, take us back.
2016.
So not long ago, 2016, 9 years.
So
wow.
Fast forward now, I'll do salvages, survey, captaining, management, repair.
Yeah.
My mom actually moved out here 3 years ago, runs the biggest marina in Marina del Rey.
Yeah.
So it's been cool.
So the family's migrated, followed you.
Yeah. We went Oregon Trail. No, actually, my dad passed away in 2019. But he was more stoked about me getting my captain's license than my college degree.
Okay.
He's like, my boy's gonna be a captain.
Yeah.
Like he was like loving that aspect. So, and it's just like I saw these different opportunities, and what I always like, that's my thing I say is if you apply like work ethic from the East Coast with the opportunity of the West Coast, there's so much that you can do.
Yeah.
Out here, it's like the things I do, I couldn't do back in Boston.
Because there's more. You think there's more opportunities, more entrepreneurial spirit.
It's just there's just so much. It's more progressive mentally, more progressive. And there's a lot of money here, but it's like the old ways back home. And within 1 square mile, there's 50 amazing mechanics where we were, where our boat was.
Yeah,
here, I just couldn't find it. We're in the biggest marina in the U.S., man-made, second biggest in the world. And I'm like begging people to come help me.
Check it out.
And then I'm like, whatever, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how like all this stuff progressed. And this thing started as an idea for a brand. And then I shifted into the boat stuff because it made me money and I had to live.
Yeah.
And now we're going back because the brand has an identity based on all the stuff we do in organic.
So when did you realize, because that's one of the questions, what's the identity? How did you realize you had an identity? And we had a chat.
I didn't have an identity. I had an idea.
I had an idea. But then when did you realize it was a brand, or the brand had an identity?
It's evolved, and I always wanted to like
after 2-3 years or just recently?
No, it's always been a love and hate relationship, trying to figure out where we're gonna go, like with the brand aspect. But as I get older and more secure in what I do and things, I kind of have a path. And then people like Lofty, I can involve them in. Like this gentleman, was one of the founders of Freestyle Motocross, has been a huge marketer.
Yeah.
And to have these people on board that see like we're kind of building a vision together.
Exactly.
And you're the captain. You can't run this boat alone. No. But you're there to right the ship and be everyone's, everyone confides in you or whatnot.
Yeah.
And you're the one to make the final decision.
Yeah. Well, I'll get the final blame.
And then you got to take the heat too.
I always tell. There's a couple of things I tell people is if you don't shoot, you don't score. So you got to understand you got to miss.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a go at things in life, people. And if it goes wrong, then we learn from it. If it goes horribly wrong, then I have to deal with it. And we grow from it. But it's tough. A captain's job is not an easy one because you do. At the end of the day, you're responsible for decisions other people make, good or bad, and you can't control that. What you have to try and do is narrate the story. And this is the vision, people. Like, let's go. This is the path we want to be on. This is the ideology, like as an owner of a company. We work with a great owner who owns, Unbridled. We work with a great brokerage firm, Northrop & Johnson, and Unbridled's got an identity now, and it had a good reputation, but we're trying to push into the charter market. Yeah, and that's why I'm reaching out to you and having these chats, because when I saw you were straight down the docks, Catalina Crew, welcome aboard. And I was like, cool, this is what I like. I like people proud of the companies they run, proud of the companies they ownership.
Well, we never done a yacht show in a booth like we did. And honestly,
I thought you were like...
So we put it all together. We had floating docks.
The first one.
We had the electric jet boards, the Awake. We had the CNEX. We had all these... We had the Yacht Beach docks, and we had the official shirt, which you're wearing at the Newport Beach show.
Represent, man. Represent.
Bernard, who runs the show, was rocking the hoodie yesterday.
Cool.
I was like,
Really? The actual who runs it, Bernard?
Yeah, he was rocking the hoodie yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, I put him on it's on our Instagram story.
That's big.
But so to see how much fun people had in the booth, that was very fulfilling. It was a lot of stress, but we had a lot of cool people, and everyone was having a blast.
Yeah. So you've got a partnership with Awake board. So for those who don't know, Catalina is an island off California.
It's like going to Monaco off the coast of California. Same topography, geography, same sort of water.
Without the yachts that are
you go out the mega yachts. But I remember when I named my company Catalina Crew, I'd never even gone there before. Yeah. And then I remember sailing up on the sailboat the first time, and we had Catalina Crew t-shirts in 30-foot Ross in 1960. We re-stepped it with a Catalina tall rig mast. we just threw the mast on. I'm like, I'm going to Catalina.
Cool.
And we headed out there, me, my dog, and my girlfriend at the time. And I remember coming up in the island, and I was like, this place is freaking unreal.
Yeah.
I scored on the name, bro. It worked out.
Yeah, because you see a lot of boats going, from Marina del Rey to Catalina.
Yeah. Oh, it's on the weekends. It's from Newport or from Long Beach or San Pedro or even San Diego.
Yeah, exactly.
Marina del Rey, Redondo. Yeah. But I remember on the way back, it took us 10 hours, and I remember calling my dad. I'm like, I'll never go on this effing thing again. He's like, oh, son, that's what it's about. He's like, you'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks, you'll be back and live to tell the tale, and that's actually kind of like our tagline. Live to tell the tale.
I was going to ask you, there's one of the questions someone had. I said, why is the story? Is it a fishing story or what is it?
No. It's just like perseverance and powering through, and then you can look back on stressful situations and you're like, I accomplished that or overcame it, or you know. So you're living. So what's you can tell? Because honestly, I have the best times I have with people is when they tell me stories about things they've experienced.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's badass.
Yeah, true. Well, that's kind of how I started this captain's chat. Is like I've realized 25 years on the ocean. I've seen so much, man, like from the Pacific to the Arctic regions to Argentina. And I see all these kids and they're kind of making their stories. And I'm kind of getting to that age now at 45. I'm like, I wouldn't mind giving back. And you can give back by, inviting people like yourself onto a platform where you share your stories, or I can tell some of my stories to try to engage people. You know what I mean? I think that's the key. From a brand point of view, because that's what's big for Unbridled in the yachting industry. We're trying to create something different in yachting, kind of what you're creating as well here.
Well, so this is the thing, and this is like the platform to come on and talk about this. So me and Trevor, we work with Ralph Smith at Northrop.
I think I can do a swing. I might get upset by this. See you guys.
Swing on.
Behind the scenes there.
Hey. So we work with Ralph Smith, and we're kind of like his go-to guy in the Southern California area for captaining or taking over a boat or managing it or, going through it. And he was inviting me to Monaco last year. So I was like, let's go to Monaco. But then because I'm always thinking about progressive, like, how can we do this bigger? How can we do, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't want to just go to Monaco. So then I was like, well, me and him were talking. I'm like, well, maybe we'll apply for press passes because I got enough Instagram followers. Maybe they'll accept us. Then they did.
Wow.
And then he reached out to everyone on the yachts, and we got tours lined up. And we really didn't know what we were going to do going into the tours. And then our first
what are you selling?
No, because it was a different aspect of having a captain talk to the crew on these yachts.
Gotcha.
And not from a broker perspective, because I know the systems.
Yeah.
So we got to Canterbury del Marque, and we got on that boat, and they were just so amazing. The tour went great. And
crew were good.
And then a crew was great. Captain Guy, I'm forgetting her name right now. All right. She's Maria Roberta is the best ever. She's the one that runs all their social media and all their marketing, everything.
The Monaco show.
Then they invited us to Ancona to go to the shipyard. So we did that after we did a tour. It's on the Catalina Crew YouTube. So then we started going to all the shows and doing all these tours. And then we started getting traction, and it's at almost like 1 million hits. Wow. So that's kind of how we met you, because he had reached out to Gabby, I think her name is. Yeah. And then we were lined up to talk to you. We just set up the booth, everything. We go to Serengeti, and then you. And then we were just like,
cool. Yeah.
So trust me, a lot of caffeine. That's where that energy was.
Oh, mate, likewise, mate. It's on my cup, and I try and, they say, I love tea, but tea's still got caffeine. And now I've got a beautiful engineer on board. I really respect. I've worked with him a lot of years, and he's into his coffee. So between him, the chef, and me, we're just caffeinated for the first 3 hours of the day.
I can't drink. Some of that coffee is just too nuclear for me. I'm already like.
I'm going to show you this stuff, this Cuban stuff, and I shouldn't say the word. It's like Coca-Cola, but it's Cuban coffee, and it's full on.
That's what I mean.
Brought that. How'd you get that over here?
Exactly.
So
that's Monaco, but this is the yachting sector you're in. You're knocking on the doors of yachting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty powerful stuff. That yachting's but it's different. Yachting's about luxury, and I'm just giving you the speech.
Yeah.
This is not what I
believe. But the people who are watching the videos aren't necessarily into the caviar dreams and whatnot. They want to see the systems. They want to know who runs the boat.
Yeah, true.
True. And then when I can build a relationship with someone who's a captain or a crew, like we had one guy, we ended up calling him Lucky Luciano. He's from Italy, and he's like, I do not want to be on the video. And then after me saying I'm a captain, he goes, oh, Capitano. No problem. He's hugging me, and by the end, the broker's like, you got to leave. He's like, no, I make them pizza. He's giving us coffee, espressos.
Yeah, nice espressos.
He's inviting me to his house. And then there was another boat we went on where the captain spoke no English, but I could communicate to him through the systems.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that was pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
the thrusters and whatnot. Like we're in the bridge.
So what's this is a question from me, because a lot of people have asked me this question over the years, and I've built a couple of yachts. What's your favorite boat? What's your ideal scenario?
Honestly, now that since we went to the Cantieri della Marche shipyard, and that's actually the boat that's on here, the rendering is a Cantieri della Marche boat. And
that's from the show though.
That is the show shirt, but we used a rendering from Cantieri della Marche. I think that's their Flex Explorer yacht, and we put it on the shirt.
Cool.
So, and they actually won an award at the Boat International awards that they just had. Their boat was one of the ones.
Cool.
And shout out, the boat's called Lieutenant Pete Mitchell Maverick. And so we have a foundation. My little brother has
I saw that. I wanted to speak to that.
He has Asperger's.
Yep.
So the owners.
What's Asperger's?
It's just it's on the spectrum of autism.
Yep.
So he's like, social issues and anxieties and whatnot. He's a very good artist. He actually moved here with my mom too. He's an anime artist. He has like 10 different books that he's produced. He goes to all the Comic-Cons and stuff. His name's Ryan McCarthy.
Cool.
Ryan the cartoonist is his Instagram. But so the owner's wife, or the owner of the boat, Maverick, there's one of their children has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
So we kind of connected over talking about that. And that's why kind of like we started the foundation. My sister is one of the head social workers at Boston Children's Hospital. She does a podcast with one of the girls from Full House called Awkward Conversations. Full House is a TV show that was in the US.
I remember Full House. Yeah.
So
Awkward Conversations.
Yeah, and then my mom, she had daycare for 22 years before she ran the marina. So we bring like neurodivergent kids out on the water, and we're trying to expand that. Like this year, I have season tickets for the Chargers, like the football team, and I'm giving 4.
San Diego.
Now they're in LA.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
They play at SoFi Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're the underdog, so I root for the underdog.
Yeah,
but
why not, mate?
We're going to give 4 tickets, 2 pairs each to family members, so they can go to games and experience it.
Yeah.
So I think
I watched that movie or the series, anyway, Loving the Spectrum and all that. And I think the world's in a pretty beautiful place in terms of the access people have to information now.
Yeah.
With AI, we're in a whole generation of information availability, which is great. And that's why kind of companies like yours, companies like Unbridled, where you've really got to be on the forefront of this digital marketing, correct?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. I get an email probably every 30 seconds about somebody who's trying to pitch me on how they can SEO this and
so what do you do with those? I started.
We just figure it all out by ourselves.
Yeah, that's the best way, man.
Eventually, but just like anything,
patient. Yeah,
I don't want to hear anyone cry about how it can't be done. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. That's why I have this saying on the boat: "Don't involve me. Just please don't involve me, because I love a challenge."
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if it's a boat with free engine, I'll get it. Won't be pretty, but I will get the result, because I enjoy the journey to the result.
Yeah.
So a lot of times with the crew, they're going to do their thing. I could see something's going up. Like, need a hand? And they're like, no, I can't. We got this. And I'm like, come on, let me help,
See, and those are things like, when you like go to college, you think like, I wanted to be an attorney because I thought that's the road you're supposed to take. But as
a family or
no, just because I thought I'd be a way. I want to be a sports agent actually. So I thought it would be like a way to, succeed in life or whatever.
Yeah.
But growing up, we had a restaurant, and my dad, I was like his little sidekick. So all these little tinkering jobs and working on cars or snowmobiles or whatnot, all that stuff paid off.
Yeah. It's funny, I was looking at 2 people recently, and someone just got married, got to get their captain's licenses, and bought a house, right? And I was like, that's a success story. And in the same kind of day, I was speaking to someone who just got divorced, sold the house, got a motorbike, and they're just as happy. And I'm like, so what is success then?
Yeah.
Like both stories, the person's happy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So you can't really justify it. I don't know, for me, so back to the boat, you'd go the 50 meter or the 55 meter.
No, I think the Flex Explorer, it's 146 or 55.
Yeah, something like that.
Something around those. I always get my conversion rate.
For me, it's a rowboat or one of these Duffys out here, isn't it? The Duffy.
Oh, we're the official. Shout out Duffy. We're the official service provider for Duffy for all your needs in Marina.
Really?
Yeah.
In Marina del Rey.
Yeah.
You cracking into Newport Beach, or it's a tough neighborhood? Is it?
There's so much. We have 6,000 boats. Like
6,000.
I need more men. No. So they've made 23,000 or 26,000 Duffys total since the 70s. There's 3,000, I believe, in Newport Beach right now. We have like 100. 50 are on.
Wow.
We're trying to get more of them. Duffy is the best boat to cruise around the harbor for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Like
I seen the 2 service boats around this morning. I gave them away. I was doing some work out on the bow.
They go 7 hours on one charge. You're only going 5 knots or whatever, but like wine and cheese, family, very minimal maintenance.
Yeah.
It's not like your dad in the rib trying to pull the motor.
And what's the batteries then?
The batteries are either lead acid, lithium ion, depending on which one you have. Like I have so that's another opportunity. I bought a Duffy to do rentals and to do some other things with it. I called Duffy. I'm like, can I get your Duffy service? And Marina del Rey, they're like, no, we don't do that. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll be your service provider.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about.
So you've just got to be available and willing to push the boundaries. That's success.
If
you want to move forward,
just keep like you said. I get nervous and
and
insecure sometimes. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, right now for me, like I don't do social media, and people say, "Cap, you know enough now."
The intro you had for us was really good.
Was it?
Yeah. You're like these wake forces, electric, the great.
Good accent. No, I mean, but traditionally, no. It's only from Motor Yacht and Bridal, where the challenge is to build a charter program, and I work with Northrop and
Johnson. You know how you do a charter program? I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
me and him have talked about this. Is getting someone like as our channel grows and stuff, like getting someone on there for a day. That's like we're completely arbitrary to the situation and film what a charter day looks like. You know what I mean? Then somebody could see
like but lifestyle shots.
Yeah, what the experience is like. Instead of
so you sell the story a little bit more.
Sell the story to see what's going on because obviously people who charter the boat don't want to be filmed.
No, not at all. And I don't know. I think it's a different. We're back. Sorry about that. I think I just got a phone call.
The little wheel was spinning. The rainbow wheel.
We need the Catalina Crew little symbol to go through.
Yeah, trust me, I get sick of that symbol every once in a while, but it's all good.
I'm going to wear it down now.
It's like anything.
I'm going to wear it down. No, we're talking about the challenges. Like, a lot of people say, "How are you so comfortable on camera?" To me, I'm like, well, I've dealt with high net worth individuals my whole career, so I have to present to them different options and anchorages, and listen to the good and listen to the bad and the challenges. So I look at like a camera as I'm telling a story to someone. And unfortunately, I don't spend as much time as I'd like with my kids and my wife. So I have to go and navigate that journey as a captain.
Yeah, and then how long? So when you're on the boat, how many months on, how many months off?
It's not real rotation. It's not full rotation, and there's positives of that. It means the client, the broker, the owners, the crew have a stable direction. The negative of that is I don't spend as much time as I'd like with my family, but they do travel. We're currently in Montreal, Canada. They survived their first winter, which was tough because we're from Dominican Republic. My wife and kids are from Dominican. We lived there 15 years. But every 2 months for about a week or two, I go home, or if there's important dates to go home. Yeah. So now I'm going, when I get to Port Angeles, the boat will do a survey, and I'll probably go home for a week. So I'm pumped to go north, especially after the last 2 months.
What made you pick Montreal?
Kids' education. Basically from Dominican Republic, and they've had 15 great years there. And we kind of looked to expand the horizons a little bit for our children. And I want to teach the kids life's not easy. Life isn't fair. It is fun.
It's not all TikTok and rainbows.
It's not all TikTok and rainbows. There's challenges, and I don't want to be at sea every day. I want to be with my kids, but I have to make sacrifices. Yeah. So Montreal is in Quebec, and they speak French. My children's first language is Spanish. Obviously, they speak English great. So the third language of French on top of that, with a French education and leaving high school and going into a university there, I think that will give them a lot of different opportunities globally. Because they have 4 passports. They've got Australia, Ireland, Canada, Dominican already. Nice. And my son's mind's kind of quite broad in terms of his cultural understanding, and he kind of wants to study in Germany. So I'm like, all right, let's get you a couple of years in Canada, good education, and they've got great universities like Boston.
Well, yeah, they have McGill.
They have McGill.
I know McGill. I know a couple of friends who went to McGill. Yeah.
And it's a good life up there. Canadians, it's a good life up there. So, but my son and I take the train down to Boston quite a bit.
Boston, honestly, that was a place where it was like one of the best experiences to actually grow up as an adult from 18 to, like 28. I was in Boston. Area. Yeah, cool. Because we have most universities in the world are confined. Yeah. To there, so it's all same age, but we're all from different ideologies and different countries,
different universities.
So you really get a melting pot, and you get along with people, and you learn that where you're from isn't the whole center of the world.
Exactly. I mean? That's probably if you want to hit it on the head. That's probably exactly why we're moving to Canada. is because I love Australia. I'm from the East Coast, in a little town called Byron Bay, which is a surf town.
Yeah, man. I'm down for that.
Yeah, it's a cool little town. But I travel the whole world thinking I'm going to find something like Byron, you know what I mean? And I found a place, Pavones, Costa Rica. If you ever get a chance to get down, we go down there in the summer.
Write it down on the Google machine.
Yeah, maybe it's the second longest left-hand wave in the world, and I reckon you'd love it down there. It's just full of good energy, chilled, still dirt roads, still an airport, like international airport, 6 hours drive away. It's just the middle of nowhere in the south coast of Costa Rica in the jungles. And I'm like, I think I found a place. And then my wife's like, every time I travel to these places, I'm like, oh, here we go again. Liam's found a place, you know, and I'm like, yoga studio, little, you know, bit of solar panels, bit of water.
I like that.
What's next? I usually go on only for 15 minutes, but we've already gone for it because I'm loving it.
Wait, so the whole interview is only 15 minutes?
Usually it's a live feed, 15 minutes. You know?
When he comes on our podcast, we do a solid 5 hours.
Solid 5 hours.
We're taking Rogan on with the solid 5 hours.
Cool. We're gonna do a harbor cruise with it, or
no? I would love to. So
I'll come to Marina del Rey.
Yeah, Marina del Rey would be cool. We were gonna take my speedboat out to Catalina next weekend, maybe.
Cool.
There's a lot of
options. See you out there.
Well, we can do the yacht cast. We were cruising the 100-foot yacht around Marina del Rey.
Nice.
Put up the neon sign.
We may have to get some fuel there. I think we get fuel in Marina del Rey, correct?
No, you get it in San Pedro, Yankovic.
Okay.
That's the one. That's the cheaper one. Marina del Rey, it's a little costly.
More cost effective. You know?
Yeah. Actually, so segueing into that, so we're trying to move into some of the political ideologies of where we're from. We have 6,000 boats. Marina del Rey was founded 60 years ago as a small craft harbor, but it's like a misnomer because how do you have almost 6,000 boats, but it's small craft?
Yeah.
And like the boat we're sitting on now, what would be nice we have the World Cup, the Super Bowl, and the Olympics coming up.
Yeah.
3 world-class events that are back to back to back.
When's Super Bowl next year?
Super Bowl is 2027, World Cup's 2026, and it all culminates with the Olympics.
Yeah, awesome.
So we got that idea again in Monaco. A lot of the yacht owners we want to be there for the Olympics. Can you guys accommodate that? And as of right now, the only dock we have is the one dock. It's the fuel dock.
The fuel dock.
And
200-foot long.
Me, is what I do in boats, like I said, with salvages, we'll also get rid of abandoned boats. So what we're doing in Marina del Rey and other harbors in California, I'm sure around the world, is pricing out these 30-foot sailboats. People can't afford the slip for $1,200 a month for a boat that's worth $500.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we crush them and get, and recycle them and whatnot. So Cecile from Boat International Magazine, we did an interview with her, and that one's about to come out.
How'd you get that interview? Because she's a big wig.
There's a boat. She's a great lady. I love her. But so through connections, we were on this boat Northwind that we brought up from San Diego. It's a 130-footer from 1930.
Cool.
Winston Churchill was on it. That Queen. It was supposedly in the Battle of Dunkirk. It was the first boat on scene at the Exxon Valdez. Jackie Kennedy met Aristotle Onassis on this boat.
What's the name of it?
It's called Northwind. So it's now become the California Yacht Club temporary yacht because their club burned down. Yeah. And the owner was nice enough to donate it to the club so they could use it. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I don't want to mention his name.
No.
But so point of the story is
we've got to get more large yacht slips in.
Well, think about this. So if you line up 15 slips at 30 foot, and you're getting it from 15 different people, you're collecting money from 15 different people for each individual slip. When you can make that one big slip for a big yacht, and you're making that whole 15 slips in one day, and that boat renting it, and you're getting it from one person.
Yeah.
And it's also the optics. People love to see boats like this. We got Balboa Bay Club right here, and that place is always packed.
Yeah.
We need a place like that in Marina del Rey that, we're Hollywood's harbor. We're right there.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Also, the other thing with big yachts too, they're used, believe it or not. We move quick.
Yeah.
These boats
well,
move
in
quick.
and out, and especially if you want to go to Alaska, sometimes going to Coronado, it's kind of militarized in that area. In Newport, it's very hard. Almost impossible to get a slip.
Yeah.
So being an intermediary in the West Coast, I think it would be beneficial.
I think they should do the same thing here. I'm shocked. They're putting in these permanent slips here, and we go from there.
Yeah, some permanent slips.
What's the future? We're going to wrap it up soon. What's the future?
What is the future? Who said that?
Catalina Crew. We got a question.
Man, just living.
Just
living.
Just roll with it.
Going with it.
Roll with it.
The opportunities that Catalina Crew has afforded me, and
the wakeboards is a big one.
Awake is cool. I love Awake.
Yeah, say that.
Shout out to Michael. He is the temporary CEO that I started talking to in Monaco to do it. He's been on our podcast.
Cool.
And now they have a new guy in charge, Tice. We're working with him. He's a great guy. But just like these opportunities, we're going to build the brand. I think we got a really good opportunity to get this out to the masses in a positive way.
Yeah.
And my whole vibe, man, it's like, not every day am I happy and all joy and boyous and whatever.
You gotta have tough days.
But those are the days you learn from. And like, I remember going to Malibu one time. We did this volunteer thing for the kids on the beach, and we bring up my speedboat and they tube and wakeboard, and it was a glass day on the way back, and I was just like, these are the days, man. It's about sun shining. All those hard days where you're getting the shit beat out of you. And
that's why, even with this Catalina account and all that, and for me, I'm logging the journey. And some days, like, I say some tough things, and I'm like, oh, it was a tough day. It wasn't much fun. Salt in the face, red eyes, tired.
Yeah.
As a captain, you get mentally, physically beaten in a normal day.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you're like, oh, how am I going to stay positive? And then you have those sunsets in Newport, the orange is like glowing.
Or you have your family, when your family comes to visit, like with my mom out here, and then my sisters come, she just had a baby, and being able to hopefully with this make them happy and financially stable eventually. They don't have to worry about things. Except for being happy. That's
cool, man. So your whole family's out here. Your brother's out here.
My sister's still outside of Boston with her husband.
Okay.
But I am.
And home for you is Marina del Rey.
Home is Marina del Rey.
Cool, man. Cool.
Started in Playa del Rey and then moved to Marina del Rey.
All right. Well,
so we went 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you got another brother in the ocean here, another captain, man.
Oh, hey, we're gonna be kicking it. Buddy.
If you need anything, you let me know. We're coming back here every probably every winter time. We come back here September way. So, and then we head down south to Costa Rica. I'd love
you guys stay in Costa Rica, just chilling there?
No. We go up north. The charter program's pretty busy. We go to Alaska for the summer, and then you turn around, come back down, fuel fix, go back down to Costa Rica. And Costa Rica's got Cocos Islands, Galapagos, Panama, Belize, that's Central South America.
The Galapagos must be amazing.
Yeah, so that's where we're going to be chartering down there. So, to wrap it up, how can people reach you?
CatalinaCrew.com.
It's down the bottom as well.
Instagram is Catalina Crew. YouTube is the Catalina Crew. We were talking TikTok. I'm not a big TikToker, but we have an account, and it's got a little bit of a following. It's Catalina Crew, and
cool.
Just keep blasting out the Catalina Crew.
And YouTube, correct me if I'm wrong, when you get to 100,000
free yacht cruise, we just threw that there. We get 100,000 yachts. Like, I'm all about I don't go into anything thinking I'm going to get something monetarily.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one way you got to think of. Like, how can I get money out of this? That's how I build the best organic relationships.
Yeah.
And so, like, we want to give yacht cruises away to the kids. We're going to sponsor a Sea Scout week out in the camp.
Cool.
Like things like that. But when we get 100,000 subs on YouTube, we're going to give away a free yacht cruise.
Cool. So follow, subscribe, like.
All that good stuff.
100,000,
Yeah.
All right, man. Respect. Be safe. Be blessed. And safe seas.
Peace and love.
You.
Live to tell the tale.
Ciao.